In Eagle, Colorado, I'm Jesse Cohen reporting.
Jesse, thank you, and that will do it for us today. I'm Chris Stewart. Denver 7 News at 5 starts right now.
Storms have arrived, hitting Colorado with heavy rain, hail, and floods.
A lot more storms out there. Flash flood watches and some warnings continue at this hour.
A high school student in Greeley is rushed to the hospital, stabbed multiple times. Plus, neighbors rushed to stop thieves in Denver and quickly regret their decision.
I convinced my friend, let's all back off because you don't really want to get shot.
And a Colorado man still helping his family in Afghanistan.
They cannot go to work, and no one has still no food, no water.
As the Taliban celebrates 1 year since taking over.
There's no rights for the girls anymore. There's no rights for no one in Afghanistan.
It is raining hard across Colorado right now. Floodwaters are starting to rise in many places, shutting down some roads across the state. I want to take a look at Glen Haven. So this is up near Estes Park, an area that was already damaged by this weekend by flash floods.
Just look at that flooding.
Wow.
And cities across Colorado are warning drivers to avoid any high waters until the storms pass through. But despite that, our crews are catching dozens of people who are purposefully driving into floodwaters and mud. Now, this video was taken in southeast Aurora near Hamden and Piccadilly. This, of course, is very, very dangerous. Not the thing to be doing right now. Well, thank you for joining us on this Weather Action Day. I'm Jessica Porter.
And I'm Shannon Ogden. Glad you're with us tonight. We want to get straight to our team coverage. We're going to begin with Megan Lopez live in Castle Rock.
Megan, you just watched a couple of cars being towed behind you?
Yeah, that's right. They had to pull a couple of people out of their cars. Not raining right now, right, guys, but it was raining really hard for a very short amount of time, and that caused a little bit of flooding in this area. I'm near sort of the Castle Rock outlets and the hospitals behind me and I-25, just to kind of give you an idea. So you can see behind me the area clear now, but they had to divert traffic around this. 2 cars were stuck here. I had to talk to the police officers, and they told me they had to rescue one person out of a BMW. It was a smaller kind of car. The water was all the way up to their wheels at that point. The second car was an SUV. It had a mom and a baby in it. They said they got them all out safely. We got here as they were kind of towing those cars away. They also had to bring in some street sweepers because some of the landscaping, it was so heavy, kind of poured off. So they got the streets clean. It's open now, but it was kind of scary there for a second, guys.
Seems like that floodwater receded just as quickly as it came. Thank you, Megan. And here to give us the full picture of the flash flooding and how long these storms will last, let's get to Chief Meteorologist Mike Nelson. Good evening, Mike.
Thank you, Jessica. Conditions have calmed down a little bit in the Denver area compared to where they were 1 hour ago. The storms have moved out to the east of Denver, out into central Adams and Arapahoe County. The flash flood warnings are still in effect, but they'll likely be lifted within about the next half an hour as the waters continue to recede on the south and east side of the metro area. To the north and west, we have some rain up around Allens Park and Fraser up toward Grand Lake, and the biggest concern remains up around the Glen Haven area. And Highway 34 is closed from Loveland right at the mouth of Big Thompson Canyon all the way up to the Mall Road in Estes Park, and the worst of it has been that flooding around the Glen Haven area. As far as that, there's not much rain falling there now. It's moved off to the north and to the east, but of course coming off the Cameron Peak burn scar, major flows of debris. Elsewhere across the state, farther to the south, we have heavy weather that continues down in central El Paso County. You can see the worst of the storms have pushed out east of the metro area, but there's more rain back to the south and to the west. Pretty good monsoon flow, also interacting with a cold front that moved into the state this morning. So the upshot is there will be heavy rain with some flooding. 2 inches in less than 45 minutes. The heaviest was at Confluence Park near Rangeview High School. 2.5 inches of rain fell in about 30 minutes. There is some hail possible to storms, but again, the worst of those have moved off to the east of the Denver area. It will turn warmer and drier later on this week. I'll have a full 7-day forecast coming up in about 15 minutes.
I'll check back in with you. Thank you, Mike. And you can always get the latest weather forecasts right on your streaming device. Just download the Denver 7 app. You can also get the latest on storms in your neighborhood 24/7 on thedenverchannel.com. Also developing tonight, a student was stabbed multiple times in Greeley this afternoon, just days after the start of the new school year. Another student has been arrested.
It happened at Jefferson High School. That is where we find Denver 7 CB Cotton. CB, parents obviously were shocked that you spoke with.
Jessica, Shannon, that's right. In fact, school let out about 15 minutes ago, so we've been able to talk to many parents about this scary incident. The good news, the student who was stabbed, he is expected to be okay. But this evening, as you can imagine, so many are still very, very shaken up. I want to share with you right now part of the video that was sent to us earlier. Take a look at your screen. We've blurred the video because these are all juveniles, but you'll still be able to see what happens. You can see what appears to be two students struggling in the hallway as a crowd of other students watch them with their cell phones out. A school spokesperson tells us this fight happened as students were heading to lunch, and that's when the stabbing occurred. A student whose identity we've concealed shared the terrifying moments she witnessed.
I was just coming out of my class and I just seen everybody huddled around. I didn't think much of it because it's a small hallway, and we're just going towards lunch. But then as soon as I got closer, I seen everyone like huddled, huddled. And then all I see is just a guy in black have blood on his face, and then some guy like on the floor with blood on him.
You can imagine how scary this must have been for her and her peers. I also want to point out this is the first full week of school. Last week, students here at Jefferson High, they only attended school for one day on Thursday. You know, as we've been talking to so many people, there are a lot of questions, there are a lot of concerns. I've also obtained emails sent to parents from the district. According to those emails, parents were notified of the stabbing at around 12:18 this afternoon. And according to another email, the student now charged in this crime, he ran away from the school after the crime, and it wasn't until 1:30 this afternoon when Greeley police were finally able to make that arrest. But of course, everyone in this community breathing a sigh of relief that they have some answers. Of course, they're hoping for more, and we're working to gather more details. Back to you.
All right, CB Cotton and Greeley tonight. Thanks, CB. And classes were canceled today for students in Gilpin County because of a threat made on social media. The sheriff's office has identified the student responsible. That student has been suspended until further notice.
This weekend, neighbors in Denver attempted to stop a group of thieves who crashed a truck into other cars and then tried to get away.
Denver 7's Patrick Perez has video from homeowners who say they'll think twice about jumping in if this ever happens again.
Chaos on a Denver street Saturday morning as people woke up to screaming, fighting, and guns being waved in the air.
Once the guns came out and there was wrestling about it, that was kind of scary because I thought, wow, that could go off in any direction.
Jake Schickadan says it all began just before 8 o'clock when a group of suspected thieves crashed this pickup truck into several parked cars on 2nd and Pennsylvania.
Went reverse, went back into the Land Cruiser and got loose, and then went forward again and then hit the Tacoma, which struck the vehicle in front of him.
Shortly after, he started recording on his cell phone as the group was getting ready to escape, but not before other neighbors caught wind.
It was not a good situation to be in.
Jan Ailman says that's his friend Harold in the video trying to perform a citizen's arrest on one of the suspects. What they didn't know then is that they were armed, with one gun falling to the ground and the other pulled out of a backpack.
Stay here. Then I convinced my friend, let's all back off because you don't really want to get shot by somebody.
All three suspects escaped before police could arrive in time. Jake says this serves as a reminder not to get involved.
The property damage is not worth your life, so, kind of hanging back is probably the better decision.
Monday, debris from the initial crash remained on the ground. Pictures from Jan show the thousands of dollars in damages he's now responsible for because of someone else's actions.
And hopefully they find these people some point in time so they can better their lives, but doing a shootout is not a great way to address this.
Patrick Perez, Denver 7.
Denver police hope you can help identify this man wanted for stealing at least 8 golf bags at the airport. Officers believe the man's been stealing golf bags from DIA for weeks now, July 23rd through last weekend, in fact. If you have any information, why don't you give Denver police a call?
At least 2 people are hurt this morning after an RV crashed into Winchell's Donuts in Lakewood. Both the driver and a worker inside were taken to the hospital. Both are expected to be okay.
Today marks 1 year since the Taliban took over Afghanistan when the U.S. withdrew its troops from that region.
In the year since, the UN reports 92% of Afghan households are going hungry, and women and girls are still no longer allowed to work or go to school.
Denver 7's Micah Smith spoke with one refugee who relocated here to Colorado last year about what it's like supporting family who weren't able to make it out.
1 year ago, Inglewood resident Haroon Zarafi was stuck in Kabul when Afghan forces quickly fell to the Taliban following U.S. troop withdrawal.
I'm trying to get my family out. They did help, got me out of Afghanistan. I never will forget that, and I really appreciate that. And I really appreciate you guys that it was because of you guys that happened.
Zarafi has spent the past year launching his own trucking company, and the majority of what he earns goes to his family still in Afghanistan.
I'm the only one who's supporting them right now.
Zarafi's family members provided security to U.S. troops, and he paid to get his father, mother, and brothers to Pakistan. But his in-laws are still in Afghanistan, trying to obtain special immigrant visas and passports through a system now controlled by the Taliban.
They cannot get out and they're now hiding. I have sister-in-laws and they're all like different ages, so none of them can go to school anymore.
When people flee the conditions and the trauma that these individuals were fleeing, you've uprooted your life.
Lindy Eichenbaum-Lent is the CEO of the Rose Community Foundation, the nonprofit that houses the Colorado Afghan Evacuees Support Fund.
We are so grateful to the 490 donors who've contributed nearly $1.2 million.
Eichenbaum says more than 2,000 refugees are in Colorado, and through partner organizations, they've helped with short and long-term support that is still needed.
The long-term mental health issues are real from the trauma experienced, and so mental health is ongoing, the legal services.
Zarafi says he gets hundreds of messages a day from Afghans asking for legal help.
And now, through you guys again, I'm calling on people whoever thinks somehow they can help and support those Afghans.
Zarafi says his family and friends feel forgotten, but it's not too late to help the Afghans who sacrificed so much for the USA. Reporting in Inglewood, Micah Smith, Denver 7.
I've loved hiking ever since I was a kid.
Discovering the true meaning of escaping into Colorado's mountains.
Since then, everything's been heaven.
Finding tranquility is key for this local hiker who uses the outdoors to meditate every day.
My hikes basically now are a celebration of a life that I got back.
And some VIP guests get a front row spot at today's Broncos practice.